Freddie's been gone for like 9, 10 days, 8, 9, 10 days. And Freddie came back this morning. I had some oatmeal I just tossed out there for Freddie. And there are some corn chips that I got from the food bank that I can't have because my blood sugar is too high. That's an unfortunate thing, you get older and then you gotta, be aware that sometimes things go wrong in your body. Yep, well, I'm getting older. I'm almost 60. And I gotta, as you get older, your body it doesn't bounce back like it used to. You want nachos, you want pizza, you want all those things, but you can't have it or you can't have it in those quantities because your body doesn't process sugars in your as well as it did when you're like 18. But the problem is you get to be 60 and you still think you're 16 inside. And how you treat yourself and how you're treating things, you still believe inside that you can do things exactly as you did when you were a kid, that you can sit down and eat a whole pizza for yourself, or you can eat like 10 tacos, or you can do this or that and that and that and that. And the reality is you can't. You can't do that anymore. And that realization is so hard. It's so hard to handle. I'm sorry, I just woke up, so I gotta go. I'm going to a memorial service really soon here. I gotta leave really soon for that. One of my buddies from who I got the bartending job from. He got fired so I could get his job, and he passed away from kidney cancer in like December, early in December, and he went down really, really fast. And I miss Don. He was a unique guy. He kind of, I think he might have had Asperger's, but he would never ever diagnosed, because he reminded me a lot of people who were kind of on the spectrum. He was very particular about words, and this is Freddie over here. It's kind of hard to see because the shadow is right there. Freddie's been gone for about a week, but nevertheless, Don was and he welcome, Sarah. And no one, and remembering Don today, he put the news together in a way that no one else did. The only other person I've ever seen that put the news together the same way that Don did was Tom Hartman on the Tom Hartman Show, a radio personality who had this knowledge and this interest. And Don he was a career bartender, and he has his specialty knowledge that he loved was anthropology and archaeology. And I call him about once a week, and we talk for hours and hours and hours about birds. He loved birds and crows and just the intelligence of the world outside of ourselves. There's a little bluebird there, and the window keeps fogging up. Sitting here, the window keeps fogging up, but I'm just, Freddie's here. I was so excited to see Freddie. But Freddie's not a boy because the head is kind of bluish gray. There's no adornments on the head of this turkey here. This is a female turkey. It's a hen. And it's probably less than 1 year old. It might be 1 year old. Might be a little over 1 year old. But Freddie. I call it. I don't know why I call it Freddie. Maybe it's because there's that horror film Freddy or whatever. I don't know. And anyways, I just popping on for a second. I was so excited to see Freddie here, and I wanted to share with all y'all that Freddie was back. I look horrid in this light. I need to shave. I'm going to turn the phone around, the light around, so I don't look so horrid. That's the other thing. You get old and then you look awful. Yep, old. Old doesn't, some people wear their age better than others. Now, last night I had a wonderful conversation with Moon Scarab. I'm going to tag Moon Scarab in this, and we started talking about Eric Von Däniken, but a lot of it was about what does it mean? What does it mean for us if, welcome Foxes, what does it mean for us if our gods were aliens all over the planet? Welcome, Dustin. What does it mean for us if the gods were from the sky, the gods came from outer space, the gods came from other universes, other dimensions? And so if the Christian gods, the Hebrew gods, the Mesopotamian gods, the Indian gods, like from in India, what does it mean if all those gods came from flying saucers in the past, and what you are? What does it mean if that's the truth? What does that mean if that's the truth? And we're talking about that, but then we got down all kinds of different. Yes, Dustin, but we're asking a question about one God, but what does that mean if Eric Von Däniken is right? What if Eric Von Däniken was right that the human beings were visited by flying saucers, and all of our gods on this planet came from us, from that, and what would that mean for us today if that was the truth? And so this is a question that I was proposing, the question that I was asking. Now, if we look at that, there's one source consciousness, I would agree with you, and so would Eric Von Däniken. But what does it mean for us today if that knowledge was true? And that was kind of what I was trying to talk about last night, and with Moon Scarab. And I don't know that we actually addressed that question very well. I think that I will be exploring that question more on this channel, thinking about it. But questioning because like that one God, or it wasn't just one God, because even in the Bible, Dustin, the Bible is polytheistic. If you go and look into the Old Testament, if you see the Old Testament in the original language, you will see that that there are 4 names for God. That there were 4 different gods that the Hebrews, that the ancient Hebrews, they had 4 gods. But then if you look at Sophia being a 5th one, that was a later one. Welcome, John. It was so. Oh, look, there's a cat over there. A cat. That's the neighbor cat that's kind of stalking in. And but yeah, and it's coming in to see what kind of outdoor food comes. This one just. It's kind of staying clear of the bird there a little bit. But yeah, but not a fish. It's a bird, but not a fish, yeah. I guess I can't get too close to the glass here because it keeps on fogging up the window. But nevertheless, that is, let's see if I can turn this around. No, I can't turn the camera around because I look horrid, because I just woke up and I gotta go. Well, I think the cat wants some of the smaller birds. There's a bluebird there. I don't think the cat can get that bird. I think that bird is like the same body weight as the cat, and so forth. Anyways, probably Dustin's probably not here anymore. But anyways, so John, do you have any thoughts on um on ancient alien theory? On what does it mean? What does it mean if our gods came from outer space? If Eric von Däniken, who passed away 2 weeks ago today, and Eric von Däniken was he brought into our reality the question about gods from outer space, and he went around. He toured around the world, looking at primitive art and everything, and looked at the mythologies of the world in a brand new light, in a different light, rather than looking at those rather than looking at those mythologies from a metaphorical viewpoint. He looked at it from a... Oh wait, some more of them are coming. So the turkeys have... There's more of these turkeys. Okay, those ones there are the males. I think those are no, some of them are males. So more of the turkeys are coming in. Cool. And so this one was Freddie was the early arriver. Oh, that came in is like, oh yeah, look, food. It's so cold out because it was like below freezing last night. Well, maybe not quite, because here in the Pacific Northwest it's a bit warmer because I'm really close to the ocean. I'm about 30 miles from the ocean right now, and there's some more of them that are coming in. They're just sauntering in because it's hard to move in that cold weather like that. Oh, they're coming in a little faster. So it's a big powwow of turkeys. But yeah. Anyways, that's the question that I'm asking. I'm asking the question is, of what does it mean? What does it mean if the gods came from outer space? What does it mean for us if every single god, because human beings being visited by beings from other worlds, and because of how we are, if we went back into time today, no, if someone, a lot of them, I think it's the 25 are coming, if you were presented with a piece of technology from 20 years from now or 50 years from now, you might think that it was like magic. Things were like magic. And that is kind of why by looking at the thought question about the thought experiment about if you were presented with a piece of advanced technology from your own universe, from your own world, and you'd never seen it before, or you were a person from 100 years ago that was brought forward to today, and you see the cell phone, you see the smartphone, you see all of these things that seem like magic if you were from like 500 years ago, and you have no knowledge of the telegraph, you have no knowledge of everything, and you see this stuff, you might think that this stuff was like magic. And so how would a hunter-gatherer species think if they if a UFO or a flying saucer or a spaceship came down from the sky, it descended down through the clouds, it landed, and these beings came out, what would you think? Of course, you'd be scared. You would be rumbling. It would be scary. But then, if there was a rapport that was established between you and the beings, but then when they left, maybe they had wondrous things, whatever. They had technologies that you didn't understand. I think that you would think they were gods. That these were gods. That the gods had come visiting, and that they provided, let's say, commandments. They provided commandments to they passed on commandments to Moses about behaviors. So this one God, well, maybe there is one God. Maybe there's millions of gods, billions of gods, trillions of gods. I don't know. I don't have any answers to these questions, but I think it is important to ask these questions as well. Because what does it mean? What does it mean for us today? If Eric von Däniken was right. Now, Eric von Däniken, if you ever watched, I've watched quite a few of his interviews, and Eric von Däniken was a Catholic. I'm a Catholic. He went to Jesuit schools. Of course, he worked in, his family was in the hotel business, I guess. So he had some specialty studies and things like that he studied, and he traveled all around the world when he was published Chariots of the Gods in the late 60s. I was born in the 60s as well. And all these birds here looking for something to eat. But nevertheless, that's just the question I'm just throwing out there. I really, really appreciate the fact that I had a wonderful conversation. You're not a god of poo-poo. All right. All right, John. But I really appreciate the conversation I had last night with Moon Scare by LaCord. I'm going to turn the camera around up close like that. In the I just woke up kind of a category. Been on here for 18 minutes, and I got to get ready to go to a memorial service for my buddy, Don, who would have been 67 years old this month. He will be missed. And he just loved the birds. He was a real big bird person, especially crows. The crows kind of followed him around. The crows loved him. Crows are like this super intelligent species. Maybe crows are the species that will after human beings come and destroy themselves, as Taro asked backward, thinks that we are going to be doing, that the crows will be the next high intelligent species that will come out. Yeah, there's 25 of them here. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I think there's 25, because there's 25 when you include the bachelors. So there's 4 males, and these 25 are two different tribes. They're 2 different tribes that have come together in the wintertime. They're a super tribe. They live in different parts of the valley, and these came from across the creek. So they've been down by the creek for the last week or so, I guess, and they're kind of looking at me. And so I see some of the older bachelors are not here. There's one of them. There's a couple that are not here. Um, maybe they got eaten by the cougar or something like that. They get a little bit too close to the cougar, and then boom, they're gone. Because there's like 3 cougars that live up here too. Anyways, I tossed food out. I gave John. I gave food that I can't eat anymore because I'm diabetic now. I guess I'm diabetic. I wasn't diabetic last August, but I think I slipped into diabetes over the last few months. I am really bummed about that. I can't tell you how bummed about that I am, that I think I've slipped into diabetes, but I'm also bummed about the fact that I'm getting older. And you have to think about your mortality. You got to think about what it is that you're doing. What do you want to do? You still have things that you want to do, and I have things I want to do. I've not done, but I got to take care of myself better. And so I gave the turkey corn chips because I can't really have those kind of refined carbs like that. And you have like 1 or 2, and then you just want to have a dozen, or you want to have more. And I'm really bummed about the fact that I have slipped into diabetes, or my grandmother was diabetic. I had a lot of diabetic people in my family. It bums me out. My sister's diabetic, and my mom's pre. I just thought I would be more like, oh, you're gonna be 60. I see. Yeah, I know. It just sucks, and I hate the fact that I'm getting older. I hate that. And I really, really hate that I have to control my diet because I love to cook so much. Cooking and eating. Of course, who doesn't like to love eat? They love eating though. These guys aren't as choosy. Well, they're kind of choosy. They're a little bit more choosy. They have their diet, but they're kind of they eat. Oh, they're kind of like cats, and they're like us. They actually eat anything that is edible. They eat it. And plant, animal, they eat it all. But anyway, I just threw that out there. What does it mean? What does it mean? So if you watch this clear to the end and you have any thoughts about that, leave a comment. A comment about the question, what does it mean if the gods of earth came from the stars? Yeah. What does it mean if the gods of earth came from the stars? Anyways, I'm going to leave it with that. And with that, I got to go. Thank you, John. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, everybody else. Foxes, Beverly, Ton, Sarah. Thank you, everyone else, for coming in the chat to say hello. And I got to get ready to go to a funeral. I got to, and so, anyways, that's my day today. This is my live stream for the day of these lovely turkeys that have come back, and I'm so happy to see them. Especially Freddie, and because I bet Freddie got here first. Freddie must be like a leader or some kind of because Freddie leads the pack, the outcast. I don't know. I don't understand. Yeah, so we'll see you later. Bye-bye.